Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever it is for you. I'm Cyclo, and you're watching Let's Play Train Simulator. What we're doing today is the Seaside Express scenario. This is a career scenario, number 9 in the list. I hope you enjoyed the Cahoon Pass coverage, by the way. The Cahoon Pass is really one of the original Train Simulator routes, and it is enjoyable to see where Train Simulator got its start. But at the same time, as I reported while I was playing that route, I did get a lot more lag on it. So I am actually playing at medium quality now, and I actually am finding that the lag seems to not really show up when I play on medium quality. It's kind of weird that I have to go down to a medium quality because you actually have because what happens on medium quality is you don't have as much lag. The graphics aren't as strong, so they're not going to come and affect you as much. But I have a Windows 10 computer with a NVIDIA graphics card, an SSD drive, and 24 gigs of RAM. I should not be having problems with high quality graphics. So there's something wrong with the way the game loads graphics. I'm just going to play on medium from now on, and that's going to make sure I have a smooth video, because that's more important since I'm going to be in the cab a lot of the time anyway. It's more important that I have a smooth video for you. Otherwise, it kind of is painful to watch. I hate watching video that's not smooth. So I'm going to make sure I give you a smooth video, even if it means we're not going to have the highest quality look at the route. I can always go to high quality and get pictures for photojournal at some point later on if I need to. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and do the Seaside Express. It's a career scenario in London to Brighton. It's our 5th career scenario in London to Brighton. There are 3 other scenarios after this, 2 of which are standard. But for right now, Seaside Express, drive the fast service between London, Victoria. I keep saying London, Brighton. Between London, Victoria, and Brighton, we're going to go ahead and get into the route. And I'm going to see if I can give you some information as we go here. I have some notes jotted down. I may or may not be able to cover them accurately, so we'll see as we go ahead here. I will see you in the scenario. Good evening, drivers. Tonight you'll be running the fast service between London, Victoria, and Brighton, calling at Clapham, Junction, East Croydon, Gatwick, and Haywards, Heath. Good luck. You're going to need it, is the part that they don't say. I went ahead and hit the button to open the doors a little early, so I'm not sure if it's going to count that or not, but we're going to try it again in a second. There, we're open. We're good. I guess it took it. You can hear that noise, I'm pretty sure. There's some very, very loud noises happening here in this station. I'm a little concerned, actually. But that's the train we're hearing right there. So I'm going to pop out and take a look, and there you go. So we got our timeliness bonus. Let's get moving. Do an AWS self-test. So we got our stop for picking up passengers here, which is our first real task, hilariously. Headlights are on, so we're good to go. And you can see another interesting thing here as well. You can see that we have only 150 points. There are only 6 tasks in this scenario that give you points, and that means it's a maximum of 900 points available in this scenario. Now, I will go ahead and say something interesting here. I've already played this multiple times to try and get 900 points. I finally managed to pull off the 900 points. And then I realized that the sound hadn't been working on the game, so I'm literally recording this to just get a run out of this. So hopefully I have a clear run. I'm going to see if I can have a nice clear run for you on this. I'm just going to see if I can pull it off again. Second time I'm going to try and pull it off here. So we're going to try not to speed, because if we speed, we lose our gold star, we lose our 900 point, we get 899 at the most, and we basically don't get our gold. So I'm going to try to pull off the clean run here on camera. In this scenario, not only do you have to avoid speeding to get your 900 points and get a so-called perfect score, which is 100 off of actual perfection, but we also have to maintain speeds very, very close to speed limits just to be on time. We can't be 1 or 2 miles under the speed limit, or we may not make it on time, because the timings are that tight in this scenario. So we have to be very, very cautious here with our time. We are coming past the Victoria Carriage sidings on our left right now. We're going to be coming to the Grosvenor Bridge, which is going to take us to the Chatham Main Line split. Now, because it's getting dark outside, we're not going to see very much of what's going on. So I'm not going to try too much to give you too many landmarks. In this scenario, there's no point in giving you a lot of landmarks because you're not going to see them. So I'm just going to concentrate on the driving. I'm going to try to do a good run for you guys here. We're going to see if we can pull it off. That's all we're going to do. So we're going to get down to 45 miles, we're up rather to 45 miles per hour right now. We still have that train next to us because we're leaving earlier than I remember last time. which means we're going to have a bit of a wait at Clapham Junction. So we're going to be going through Battersea Park Station after we split here. That train's going down the Chatham Main Line that you just saw and heard very loudly. So here's Battersea Park Station. I'm coasting right now because I am going to come to a downhill where I'm going to have to hit the brakes anyway, so I might as well just not go too fast. I might as well coast a little bit here. That train you just saw, by the way, I can confirm for you who that is in a second if I look outside. That's the 19382 Victoria. And now I'm coming slow enough that I'm going to maintain a little bit of speed here. We are going to get to the downhill before we come to that 60. And my goal is to not be accelerating into the 60 at too fast of a speed. We are now on a 1 in 85 grading. I think we get to 1 in 84, 1 in 91 right now. So this is a fairly steep grading, but we are coming down a bridge after crossing the Portsmouth Direct Line. We're now going to rejoin, or rather join, the Portsmouth Direct Line. So that's what you're seeing the gradient on, that little bit of a downhill. And now we're coming a little too fast, so I'm going to slap on the brakes for a second. And now the gradient has smoothed out, so we're now going at a steady 44 and losing speed, which is fine. So we're going to be going to Clapham Junction, which is coming up right here. As you see, our arrival time is 42 minutes. We're at 39:40 minutes right now. So we have lots of time for this stop. I'm going to go ahead and slow down in light of that because we have a couple minutes to make this stop. Let's actually hit the brakes a little early here. There we go. Fantastic. We don't have to rush this stop. And we're going to have to wait once we leave here, when we want to leave here anyway. We're hearing another train going by to our right. This is a different train going by. I might be able to get a label on it. That's actually the station I'm going to. As we come to a stop, I'll take a look at the... Actually, I'm going to move up a little bit first. Okay, that'll do. I'll open the doors. Let's take a look at this train going by. What train is that? The SWTWB1 is to our right, and they just opened their doors too. They're also making a stop. So they're probably going to leave before us. Let's see what their train looks like. Oh, this is a 377 we don't get to drive. This is a model that we get as a DLC. Interesting. There's an SWTEB02. Meanwhile, we get to drive this plain old model around. They get these nice red and orange and purple models. So that's a DLC. We're going to get to see that later, but I don't have that DLC right now, so I can't show it to you right now. But similar train, it's going to drive probably exactly the same as this one. So we'll get to see a few more scenarios in this type of train, but that model later on. So we're going to worry about that later. I'll hide that. Nice to see that we have that model, though. We just can't really drive it right now. Let's take a look outside here. Camera angles at Clapham Junction are not that good, so I apologize. And we're off. So we are leaving Clapham Junction at a speed limit of 60 miles per hour. We are going to be heading for East Croydon next. we will pass a number of stations along the way that we are not going to be stopping at. And we're going to have to slow down eventually to 45 miles per hour by the time we get to East Croydon. And look at the arrival time, 51 minutes. And our ETA is basically 24 seconds before that. So that's how this scenario is going to be, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very tight on the times. Because getting up to speed, we're going to lose some of that time. So we're going to be very, very close for the entire scenario here. Clapham Junction was the easy stop. But now they're going to be very tight. This is the kind of scenario where if you know how to use the speed set, you may want to do it, except that there are several stops. You have to turn it off repeatedly as you're going. And I don't like to do that, so I just try to maintain speed. So we're coming up to 60 right now. I am cutting the throttle off as we get close, but we have a 70, so I'm just going to hope that this ends up being immaterial on our timing. Besides, when we arrive to the station, we're probably going to have an extra half minute off the ETA anyway, because even while you're sitting there earlier, the ETA seems to keep increasing. Something they find in this game very interesting. Anyway, there's our repeater signal. We know that we're going to have a green aspect ahead. The AWS just confirmed it. That train, by the way, if you're wondering, let's find out here. The 1942 for Victoria. I'm seeing these a little bit late, so my fault. I'm getting to them late. I'm literally starting this. I'm actually playing this scenario now early in the afternoon, and I haven't been up for very long, so I'm still a little dreary. I think this is Wivelsfield Station. That means Balham will be the next station, and we're going to have the Balham Junction after that. The Balham Junction connects back to the South London network, our second access point to the South London network on this drive that we're going to go past. That was actually Balham, so we actually passed Wivelsfield earlier. Or no. Wandsworth Common is the first station. I can't get my names right today. I apologize. So we saw Wandsworth Common, then we saw Balham. Now we're past the Balham Junction. You can tell when I just got up because I mess up my notes, and you can also tell when I have been up for a long time because I mess up my notes when I'm up late. So, if I didn't tell you it was afternoon, you wouldn't have known. You would have thought it was late at night because I'm messing things up. Anyway, we are going to continue on to Stratham Junction here, I believe, is our next station. Or Stratham Common. Wording. Words are hard. For Stratham Common, you may or may not be able to notice the junction, the Stratham Common Junction and the Stratham North Junction that both connect to the Sutton and Mole Valley line. They connect to the same line, but one goes south, the other goes north. The one that goes north is part of the South London Network DLC as well, so that's the third access point. And the one going south is not part of any DLC. In fact, there's another connection later on to the West Croydon area. We don't actually have West Croydon showed up here. It shows up in South London Network. And but the line just ends right after it like it does here. So that's also part of the Sutton and Mole Valley line, and we don't have any anything beyond West Croydon. But you can look up on the map if you're curious where it goes. Sutton is a station on both of those routes when you head south. The line meets at Sutton. So we saw Stratham Common a moment ago. We're going to continue on now, and we are going to see Norbury Station right now. I am coming a little too fast, so let's go ahead and slow it down. Ironically enough, that's going to be normal speed setup later, but I know we have a speed limit change coming up, so I don't want to be too fast here. I see a 60 coming up here. The next station we're going to pass is going to be Thornton Heath. We're not there quite yet, but we are going to be shortly. We're going to cross Brook Road as we enter Thornton Heath. I'm sure you can't see my mouse, but I want to move it out of the way anyway. So there's Brook Road. There's Thornton Heath, and I'm going to get ready to go down to 60 in a moment. Our next station that we pass is going to be Selhurst. Now, I might even be slow on my... I might even be a little slow on this. That might have been Selhurst. I might have missed a station along the way, so I'm giving you the station order, but I might have missed one. Because there's East Croydon up ahead. I didn't mean to go down that far. No, this is Selhurst right here, so we are in the right area here. I just saw East Croydon and I worried for a second I might have missed it. But no, this is Selhurst. The Selhurst Depot is going to be off to the left up here. You don't have access to it from this track, but it is basically a yard. There's a yard over there. It's accessed from the South London network. And if you happen to start something from Norwood Junction, you might be able to theoretically start a scenario from there as well in this DLC. But you're not going to see it very commonly used because Norwood Junction is where you can access it. Thank you. I am already slowing down. I meant to slow down just under 46, but I'll go ahead and I'll stay in this zone for a moment. And there we are. We're going down now. So we're going to maintain our 46 or 45 rather for a moment here. And we're going to be slowing down to get into East Croydon. We do continue to have a green signal. I don't think that's going to change. Not very much anyway. I'm going to start slowing down now. And I'm going to put a level 2 brakes on because I'm coming in a little fast. That's going to be a theme of this scenario. We're going to come into some stations a little fast here. And all we have to do is make sure we don't overshoot them. Now I'm just going a little too slow, so I need to put some speed back on. Let's be decisive on this stop. There we go. Now I'm not going to worry about the 4-car stop sign because I want to give myself a little bit of extra time I need here. So I'm going to actually just go a little bit past that, but I am going to stop still before the end of the station. There we go. Arrival at East Croydon. Leaving East Croydon, we are going at a 45-mile-per-hour speed limit. We are approaching a 60-mile-per-hour speed limit, and as you see, our next stop is Gatwick Airport. We are going to be getting up to 90, and we're going to be taking, I believe, the Quarry Line side of the journey here. So I'm going to try and show you that as we get past Purley Station to show you exactly where that is, if you're not familiar with the area or with the DLC. We're just crossing it at 45, a little quicker than I planned, but we should be okay. There, we'll do that, just be safe. Okay, so now we can go up to 60. And I normally wouldn't try to rush up to 60 like this, but I know how tight the timings are on this scenario, so I'm trying to at least get up a little bit quickly here. Right now I'm going to ease it off as we come into the 90. We might actually have to ease it off even more as we're passing Purley Oak Station now. So this is Pearly Oak Station. And I am going to have to ease it off. And now we're going to go ahead and put it back on. I might have still done that a little early. I might have to ease it off again. And yeah, I'm going to ease it off again. Now we're good. So we're going to crank it up to 100 now, because it's going to take a little while to get up there. As we continue, we are going to come to Pearly Station next. And let's take a look as we get ahead here. I didn't mean to do that. So we should be on the Quarry line right about now, I believe. And actually, this might be Pearly Station. No, this is not Pearly. This is South Croydon, I believe, that we're just passing. Let's confirm this here, so I don't give you wrong information. If I come back here, there it is. That was actually Pearly, so I did give... So, you know what? It was South Croydon, then Pearly Oaks, then Pearly. I gave you the wrong order of stations. I think I was a little bit ahead in my route. I apologize on that. Now we're going to be taking the Quarry line. The Quarry line is splitting off. Stay on me, please. The Quarry line is splitting off now. And I'm not quite up to speed, which is something I wish to do at this point, but my throttle was not sticking when I tried to move it. So now we're going to move it back up to 100. And now it's not wanting to go down. There you go. Throttle can be a little sticky sometimes. So in this area, we need to go between a level 2 and level 3 throttle to maintain speed. We're going to go up and down at each of those levels. We can't, unfortunately, put it somewhere in the middle, like at 50 or 55%. We can only do 39 and 62, as you can see. So we're going to have to accept what we have here and make it manage. We have to be at our stop in about 9 minutes. So we're going to have to maintain our 89, 90 range the entire way. And we actually are losing a little speed now, so I have to bump it up to 100% to stay at the speed limit. Interesting that I'm losing speed at a level 3 throttle. I thought that was not... maybe this 150 hill is a little stronger than I thought it was. I didn't think it was that strong. Previous run I did on this, it was not that strong, so... interesting. So sometimes your speeds will vary. You will need to adjust based on how your train is driving. Sometimes it's not going to be consistent. I don't know why that is. Because I'm at level 3 throttle and I'm losing speed on a 1 in 150. I should be gaining a very small amount of speed right now, and I'm not. So that's interesting. We are going to be coming up on the Quarry Tunnel in a moment. We do have a downhill coming up, so that should help us reset and get some speed back on level 3 throttle. We were imperceptibly losing speed at a level 3 throttle right there. We are now in the Quarry Tunnel. Taking a look at our destination, you can see that it's 9 miles away. And we are now starting to gain speed downhill, so I'm going to take the throttle off again for a moment, and we are losing speed. So we are in the butter zone again. One in 200 is the grade 8 we're on right now. . Now, if you're looking at that ETA, you're thinking I'm going to cut it close. Keep in mind, we're going to add about 20, 30 seconds to that on my end. So right now, I am positioned to be early, based on that knowledge. Even as I slow down, the ETA gets to be late. I'm still going to be early at this stage, so I don't lose too much time. So as we leave the Quarry Tunnel, I think we just crossed under... Well, first of all, our railroad lines just crossed, so the Red Hill line went under us, or over us, as the case may be, or will be shortly. In fact, I think it already crossed us. And Rockshaw Road we already passed. We're going to also pass under the M25. The M25 is a circular roadway. We may have actually passed it. The circular roadway that goes around London and doesn't have a beginning or an end. It just continues in a circle endlessly. And I think there's gas stations along it and everything. So it's a major motorway that goes around London. It's your way to get anywhere you need to in London very easily. We have a dip to 80 coming up, so we're going to get ready to dip to 80 in a moment. We are gaining speed again, so I'm going to take the throttle off, and I'm just going to slowly let it drop at this point. I'm not going to try to too hard to maintain speed here. When I get to the signal, I'm going to start taking the speed off by actually braking. And I'm actually gaining speed now, so the downhill is starting to affect us. 1 in 108 now is our gradient. So I need to take the throttle completely off. There's our warning for the 80, so I'm going to go ahead and start braking now. And that'll do. That'll do, pig. So we're going under Redstone Hill right now. I don't have a name for this tunnel, unfortunately. So I'm just going to call it Quarry Tunnel version 2. And now we're actually not gaining speed, which is interesting. I'm not sure why we were not gaining speed there. But that was mystifying. Now I need to get back up to 90, and I don't think we're going to get there very quickly, because our speed gain is very imperceptible at this time. I'm a little worried I might have to reset the scenario to get my speed back. I may have to pump down a save and try to get some speed back here. So the Red Hill line will be rejoining us momentarily if it hasn't already. Let's take a quick look at the map, in fact, and we can see that indeed it has. So we already passed Earlswood up there, and I didn't even call it out. The stage we're coming up now, as you can see, is Salfords. Or Safford's. Safford's is 2 stations before our destination at Gatwick Airport. So the next station we're going to see is Horley after this. I heard a weird noise there. What was that? Either way, we're going to come up on Horley in a little bit here. Our stop is in 3 minutes. The stop, of course, is at Gatwick. So when we see Gatwick Airport showing up on our HUD, we're going to keep an eye out for Horley Station coming up. There's a speed drop to 30. We're going to have to rush very carefully into this. This is going to be a bit of a difficult slowdown here. So I'm going to do a preliminary slowdown at the next signal. I'm going to cut the throttle right now to prepare to do that. And as we are passing the signal now, we're going to start slowing down. We're going to see how the speed comes off. I am going to have to go to level 2 application. This is Horley Station. At the next signal, I will do a level 2 application. Our speed is coming off nicely, so we shouldn't need to do it any sooner. As we're now passing the signal, there's our feather junction telling us we're going on a line that's going 30, so let's go ahead and hit the brakes again. And I actually didn't even need to do that yet because we were still coming off very nicely. We're already down to 40, we still have a little ways to go, so I'm actually going to put a little speed on for a moment. And now I'm going to go ahead and prepare to take it off again. And now we're down in time. I had a little bit of time to spare, but I didn't want to chance it too much. We should still be able to make our stop on time. As you see, we have a full 45 seconds here to stop. There's a plane going over to Gatwick Airport. Fantastic. There's our 4-car stop. So why not? We'll just stay here. And arrival at Gatwick Airport. Leaving Haywards Heath Station. Sorry, I said that wrong. Leaving Gatwick Airport, platform 6. Our speed limit is 30 miles per hour. Our next stop is, as I alluded to already, Haywards Heath. Got a few more stations to pass along the way. We only have 2 more stops in our journey, Haywards Heath and the Brighton terminus. And we're already getting up to 30 very quickly, so we're going to go ahead and cut off the throttle for a moment. You can see a buffer coming up, so as we get close to that buffer, we're going to come into the 90 zone, and here it is. So I can crank the speed now. I'm not going to try too hard to give you any views of anything going on around us at night either, because it's impossible to really see anything anyway. I know the view on YouTube is better than it would be otherwise. Because I even look at my own videos, I find that the view is pretty darn good sometimes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to, first of all, not have my screen continue to mess up on me. There we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to just explain what we're passing rather than go into details of what is actually happening in terms of things you can't see. So I'm not going to try and call out any roads or anything that you can't see. You see the overbridge, but we're not going to see it in time for me to really comment on it. So I'm going to talk about major things that we're passing at this point. And I'm going to try to concentrate on my driving so I can make sure I get us there on time. I do appreciate that you are along with me on this wonderful, I actually don't know what day of the week it is, but this wonderful night in 2012. So we're going to be coming up on Three Bridges Station momentarily. I can tell you that Three Bridges Station, Three Bridges Station does have a junction to the Aroon Valley line. It goes towards Crawley. There, I can see the lights of Three Bridges Station right ahead, actually. So we're going to cut off the speed as we get into Three Bridges Station because we are coming up on the 90 mile per hour. And we want to see how the train responds. Right now I'm going to increase again. And it's a very imperceptible increase as we're on level ground. But we do have an 80 coming up, so I'm going to make sure we slow down in time for that 80. Going to cut down to level 2 throttle, as we should still maintain enough speed until we need to slow down. And we're a mile off now, but that's okay. At the signal, I'm going to start to slow down. Which I'll actually start to slow down. I'm just going to maintain where I am right now. Okay, we are coming up on the signal, so I will take the throttle off and see how much we drop. We may or may not drop enough in time here. I may have to actually further add a decrease to this. But we are going to keep an eye on it. We're just barely not going to make it, I think. Oh no, we're going to make it. Look at that. We're down in time. Fantastic. So I'm going to reapply the throttle to stop our decrease a little bit. We're exactly where we want to be right now, so this is fantastic. So I'm going to maintain speed at 80 for a moment. We do have a slight uphill, 1 in 250, then we're going to be going downhill. We're going to have the Balcombe Tunnel coming up shortly as well. So we're going to be going downhill in the Balcombe Tunnel, I believe, too. Cut the throttle off for a moment to give me a little insurance on the speed. As we're now on the downhill. 1 in 264 right now. Car gave a little bit of a rock there for a second. We're going to start to speed up because we are in the 90 very shortly. There it is. We are in the Balcombe Tunnel. As I said, going downhill in the Balcombe Tunnel. So we're going under High Street, which is road B2110 in the UK. Let's move the speed throttle up to 100 for a moment to get ourselves up to 90. The tunnel is ending as we are emerging. We seem to be doing okay for time here, so I'm going to actually take the throttle and ease it off here at around 88, 89 for a moment, because we are okay on time, but I am going to let it slowly go up to 90 as well. Because I still want to be around the 90 speed limit or we're going to lose too much time, possibly. It seems immaterial given what our ETA is, but you never know in this game. You never know. You're expected to go at 100% distant, 100%, which means you have to be going at 90 as you go into a 30. And then get penalized for speeding. So there you go. There is a Balcombe Station. Balcombe Station is over Rocks Lane, so we did cross over Rocks Lane at the same time. Not an important road, just a road that goes under the station. Now that it is really, really dark, it's very hard to see anything except the signal coming up until you're right on top of it. We are going to see another station along the way here. We're going to be seeing... Actually, you know what? No, we're not going to see another station. We're going to be seeing the Ouse Valley Viaduct very soon. So the Ouse Valley Viaduct is our sign that Haywards Heath is coming up. There's a train going by right there, by the way. I don't know if you saw the label for that in time. We are on the Ouse Valley Viaduct, so we are going to soon cross the Copyhold Junction. That comes from Horsted Canes. There is a Haywards Heath up ahead. Normally I would try and get a look at what that train was so you can see the label of the train so you know what's going on around me, but I know Haywards Heath is coming shortly and I have to slow down for that, so I want to concentrate on that right now. At the signal I will start to slow down. I do have the ability to do a level 3 brake application if I need to, but I'm going to start with a level 1 brake application and see how that comes off. I'm going to zero the throttle right now. Here's our level 1 application. I am going to need level 2 application. I can tell I'm not going to lose enough speed in time. But I'm watching our distance from the station to determine when I need to actually put on that application, that brake application. That red was a different line. Don't worry, I did not run that red. So based on what we were doing on the Glasgow route, I think we're in a good spot for slowing down right now. So I'm just going to leave the brakes on because we're in a good position. When we get down to 35, I may release the brakes for a moment. We're about 0.3 of a mile out. We might be going too slow now, so I am going to release the brakes. I'll reapply them as we get to about 1/10 of a mile out. So a little bit of a judgment error on my part, but we're still going to be there in plenty of time. We got about 1.5 minutes. I still want to give myself as much time as possible because I do know that Brighton is going to be a bit tight if we don't. So now we're getting into the station fully. I'm going to hit the brakes again. There's our 4-car stop. We're going to blow right by it. That's fine. We're not penalized for that. And we have arrived at Haywards Heath. Leaving Haywards Heath Station. We are going at a speed limit of 90 miles per hour. We are about 13 miles or so away, just a little under 13 miles from our final stop at Brighton. So I'm going to go ahead and punch the speed up quickly because as you can see, I'm already cutting it close. Even being early like I was, we're cutting it close. So we're going to go ahead and get up to speed very, very quickly here. We're going to try to maintain our 90 speed limit until we have to start cutting the speed down. Then we're going to have to really pay attention to what we're doing. We are now in the Heath tunnel. Very, very short tunnel. We're already out of it, in fact. Rocky Lane is what we're passing under next. That is road A272. And we're now coming down to being about 12 miles away from Brighton. You can see it in the corner of our HUD here, but you can also see it like this too. 12 miles exactly. Now that we're getting up to speed, that's going to start dropping really fast. So we're going to be coming into a new speed limits as we go here. We're going to have to pay attention. Right now, we're already being claimed to be half a minute behind. So as you can see, this is a little worrying. This is the one stop you have to be absolutely perfect on if you want to get your gold star, because you can't lose 1 point. So I'm going to ease off the throttle just a little bit because we are doing so well at this point. I don't want to risk losing at the very last moment here. And I consider not getting a gold star to be a loss for the purpose of this video. We're going to be coming through Wivelsfield and Burgess Hill. They're in close proximity to each other. So Wivelsfield we're going to see first. I think those are the lights for Wivelsfield right now, in fact. So we should be crossing over Leyland's Road, which goes under the station. Gonna ease off the throttle again. I'm gonna try to keep it on now because we have to stay close to 90. So Hassocks should be coming up in very short order. Oh, Burgess Hill, I said. Hassocks is after Burgess Hill. So Burgess Hill should be coming in very short order. We're also passing the we also passed the Kmart Junction that goes towards Plumpton. That is via the East Coastway line. And that, I believe, is the DLC I mentioned in Train Sim World 2. Train Sim World has the East Coastway line as part of its DLC. So if you want to drive the East Coastway line that connects to London to Brighton, there's your chance. But London to Brighton is not replicated in that game, unfortunately. Even if it was, the lines aren't able to be connected as far as I know, so you can't do on the same line. So the next station we're going to pass is going to be Hassocks Station. There's not really any landmarks until Hassocks, so we're just going to enjoy the ride here. And yes, I know you don't like these night scenarios. Many of you don't. I don't either. But you know what? That's what we're presented. That's what we have to do. So we're going to just do the best we can with it. I could change the time and give you the daylight, but then the timings are going to be all early. I mean, it'd be guaranteed us a perfect score, but it's not realistic at all in that case. So here we are at Hassocks. The other thing I could do is I could move all the timings for all the trains up as well to make it realistic, but yeah, I might as well just leave it as it is. All that work, I might as well just drive at night. So that was Hassocks Station. We are going to come into the Clayton Tunnel soon after this, and once again we're going to pass under the A23. The A23, or maybe the M23 even, is with us all this way from London. Here's the Clayton Tunnel, I believe. Oh no, we're not in it yet, never mind. Hard to tell at night. There's the tunnel. Right there. Oops. So as we're continuing through the tunnel, you can see the 75 coming up, and I knew that was coming up as well. So we are going to have to slow down for that in a moment. I'm going to try to maintain as much speed as I can going into that point that we need to slow down, just because I know that we are pushing our time limit here quite a bit. We may not get fully into the Brighton platform, depending how well we do on this drive. We might not get fully in before I have to open the doors. I am going to try my best, though, to do that. So I am actually going to use the brakes to slow down this time. I'm not going to let it come down imperceptibly like before. So that means right now I'm going to cut the throttle off. I'm going to prepare to slow down. Now's a good time. I'm coming off a little quickly, so I'm going to stay in the 80 area for right now. And I'm going to put the brakes on again and off. And now I am coming down naturally, so I'm going to make it naturally at this point down to 75. We are good for our speed limit. I'm going to reapply the throttle to maintain as much speed as possible. So I want to stay at 75 now. I don't want to lose too much more time. We lost a couple seconds, as you can see. We can't really control that because we have to reduce speed. The game expects us to stay at speed until we hit the new limit, which is not realistic. This is the patch. Oh, no, never mind. We're a little early. I don't have time to see what that train is. Sorry. So the A23 is staying with us until we cross, or the M23, whatever it is, until we hit the M27. And then we're going to hit the Patcham Tunnel after that. This is the Patcham Tunnel. We have a 40 speed limit coming up. We are in the approach into Brighton right now. We are going to pass Preston Park Station, I think right before the 40. So when we get to Preston Park, we have to really be slowing down by that point. I am just going to let the speed imperceptibly fall at this point, even though I'm on a 1 throttle. You can see the 25 up ahead, so we are close to our destination. We actually probably are going to be there in plenty of time, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the speed off right now. Or the throttle, rather. The speed is staying. And there's Brighton, the end of the platform. So technically that's 2 minutes away. We got plenty of time, so I'm going to go ahead and lose a little bit of speed right now. Thank you. That's going to be warning us to the speed drop. There's the 40. So I'm going to use a level 2 brake application for a moment, get ourselves down to 50. This is Preston Park Station. I'm going to drop to 40 in time here. Don't mind the ETA, it is flawed. It is flawed. I still have a few miles to drop, but I'll wait to do the other brake application at this point because I'm going to be able to do it right now and still be okay. There we are. We're down to 40 in time. We are going to cross the Montpelier Junction. We're also going to pass the Brighton Depot sidings. The Brighton Depot and the carriage sidings, I meant to say. So the Montpelier Junction crosses over Old Shoreham Road. It comes from London Road Station. So London Road finally has its station after being seen all the way along this drive. I know I didn't really call it out, but it was there, trust me. So now I'm going to drop the speed a little more. I need to at this point. Going to get down to about 30, a little over 30, so I'm going to do the speed drop again. So I've got 1 minute to stop inside our station here. I think we're going to be okay for this, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. That's warning us to the yellow signal, saying that this is our last signal, and expect to stop before the end of the platform. I'm going to lower our speed to 20 as we get into the platform, so I try not to trigger the emergency brakes. I may drop a little more than that as well. Here we are. So I think I'm going to be okay here. I know I'm saying that a lot, but I'm just telling myself that because positive thinking. Okay, just a couple more miles off and we should be okay. I should not trip the emergency brake at this point, I don't believe. So we should be okay. And I'm going to get in as far as I can. I'm just going to come to a stop as soon as I need to. I think we have about 30 seconds after the estimated or the required arrival time to stop. So I'm just going to make sure we're fully into the platform and then I'm going to come to a stop. I can slow down a little bit now. As you see, we are in the Brighton terminal. I'm now fully in the platform, so I'm going to go ahead and stop right now and get those doors open and cash in. There we are. Arrival at Brighton Station. There's the back of the train. As you see, all the doors are open. So we are, well, the ones at the front for some reason aren't. They're stuck in the train. Sorry, guys. You can't leave. You guys are staying with us. Enjoy your second adventure. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that trip along the Brighton Main Line today at night. I know you couldn't see much. Sorry about that. But we're going to have another one of these coming up because there's another night scenario following this, even later at night. In the meantime, let's cash out our score here. You've successfully completed the journey. There's my perfect score, 900. That's the best we can do on this scenario. No bonus for getting all the points, unfortunately. So we are done that. And there we are. So there's our perfect score. As perfect as we can really get. So I hope you enjoyed that drive today. I'm going to see you next time for the next scenario, which I believe is called the Smitham Snoozer is what that one is. And that's another scenario that we're going to have a bit of an interesting time with because I believe there are bugs with that scenario. And I'll explain when we actually play that scenario. So I will see you next time for the Smitham Snoozer. Until then, I'm Cyclone. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever it is for you at your part of the world. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to see more like this. And I will see you next time for Smitham Snoozer. Bye-bye.